And finally, the level design has changed up. There are 19 bones here, but this stage isn't split up into areas. It's just one big level. 19 bones and the boss. A lot of bones are on these old junk trucks that are pretty hard to see because of the white shading, so always watch out for them when traveling through the level. Also, sometimes they're resting on top of these tire piles. Whatever you do, don't fall into these piles of scrap metal or whatever they are, because you'll die. Other hazards that frequent the junkyard are these rocks that fall from the sky and split into two. You can wait for them to fall in front of you or jump down the center as they break. And also these bouncing things that you have to quickly run underneath to advance or grab a bone. Toward the end, there's this tire pile with knives being fired from the inside. Who the hell is in there? Whatever. Right after that is the boss, this flying bat. He'll fly around in a similar pattern to the second glove, only he'll leave behind one of his baby bats to get in your way. Repeat the same strategy as the last boss, using the ninja to jump kick into it, and watch the timing as it gets faster gradually. I say you're actually better off not killing the small bats, because they'll quickly respawn and there's only one at a time, so it's easier to keep your eye on the one that's constantly there, rather than potentially get blindsided by one that's respawning. After taking it out and grabbing the key, head back a little bit on Elm Street to the cemetery. And what the hell kind of cemetery is this? Look at all these gaps of water. How the hell do you expect to drive your way around this damn thing? Oh well, that's none of your concern. Now, there are a lot of water pits, so you want to be careful jumping because you might get tagged by a stingray or some shit on your way over and lose precious lives. Some of these gaps are too long to jump over, so a bubble pops up out of the water that you can use as a boost. But you can't stay on it for very long at all or it'll pop. After getting this bone down here, you'll need to let this bubble get up to about here so you can reach the platform up here. The bones are pretty easy to find overall, they're just crammed into little nooks with dropping rocks or droplets or some shit as an obstacle. The boss is a huge ghost that flies around in the exact same fucking pattern as the last one. And he also leaves a little ghost behind, except it's two rather than one. Other than that, this is exactly the same as the bat, so use the ninja to defeat him. Next up is Freddy's house, which is this old abandoned boarded up house to the left of the cemetery. And it looks just like all the old house levels. Great. The first area has 11 bones. There's droplets, these things, and pits out the ass. So this is going to be one of those stages where you're going to have to take your sweet ass time unless you don't care about taking damage. Be sure to grab the bone up here at the beginning, because you might not instinctively turn around when you first get up these stairs. Once you get all 11 bones, you'll head underground where you'll need another 7 bones. Just watch out for the drips in the narrow corridors, spiders that pop out of pits, and these things that closely guard a bone or two. Then you'll head up to another floor with 10 bones to grab. One of them is floating down just over this pit, so you have to either sacrifice your life to get it, which is stupid, or time your landing so you'll land on this platform after it disappears down below and is on its way up. Toward the end, there'll be a narrow stretch on the lower floor with a lot of spikes and spiders that pop out of the ground, but you need to go there to get some bones. Be careful and wait for each obstacle to clear before advancing. You definitely don't want to rush this part or you'll lose health. You'll then advance to the attic, yet another area of the stage, and if you haven't fallen asleep yet, you will soon. And I'm really talking about the game here, not you playing it. You have a dozen bones to get here. Kill these spiders to get the bones underneath them, and then at the fork just ahead, take the low route because there's a bone ahead at a dead end, which is something you don't see too much in this game. Then there's this part where this red spider bounces near this small nook where a bone rests. You have to jump over it from this moving platform, so your timing is going to have to be good here. You can punch it and keep it still momentarily, but you can't kill it. So try to punch it low while it's on its way down, and jump right after. The boss had better be something different here, because they've all sucked so far. Oh, come on, the glove in the head again? There really was no creative process with the bosses, was there? So these guys bounce around, getting medium height and a boring, predictable pattern. The glove lashes out with the claw, and the head drips some blood. Use the ninja again to attack them when they're in front of you. Just don't land on top of either of them, or let them hit you from behind. After taking each of them out, head back left to the final destination, the high school. And what the hell kind of high school is this? This is exactly the same as all the other house levels, and there are 21 fucking bones to find here. You know, at this point in the game, the whole bone collecting has lost its novelty appeal, especially since you have to get so frickin' many of them. There are lots of little tricky traps, like these little narrow areas you have to make small but long jumps, where you could find yourself smacking the ceiling, and then you have to back up right where you jumped from and keep trying. Could lose countless lives here. Oh, lockers. I guess that's supposed to be the part that distinguishes this as a high school. Keep your eye on all the bones as you pass under them on the lower or upper level. Head back and cover all ground, because there are a lot of bones to get. Once you get them all, head down to another part of the house that looks exactly the same, this time with 19 bones. When on this floating platform, slip under while it's up high to slide between the spikes that pop up to get the bone below. For whatever reason, I always seem to miss this bone right here by the zombie, so keep your eye out for that one in case you make the same mistake. Once you get all the bones, you're down underground. Amazing how the school system has a trap door down here. There are 16 bones to get, and you'll want to be asleep for this portion so you can use all your weapons against the entourage of enemies. Take notice of this little fiery pit in the middle down to the lower left hand corner of this nook. You'll want to remember it later. You're going to want to do the same jump as the platform disappears into the hole trick in order to get this bone. When you get to the end, you'll realize there's a dead end, so go back to the fiery pit area, and once you have all the bones, it goes away and you'll head down into the boiler room to battle Freddy. This is it, the final showdown. What the hell? How many more times must I see this fucking glove? It's the same as the first boss. Kill it with the same strategies you did the first time. Move on and face Freddy's head and balls. So now it's apparent you're fighting every boss all over again. You know, showcasing the game's repetitive bosses all in a row like this doesn't do itself any favors. Oh well, kill them all the same way you killed them the first time, and finally you'll face Freddy. I wonder what kind of boss battle this is gonna be. Oh god, it's the same exact battle when he attacks you in your nightmares. Ugh, what a fucking letdown. But considering the pattern the boss battles have been taking, I shouldn't be surprised. Use any of the special weapons to kill him the same old way you've done it before, and look at this bullshit. When you defeat him, he doesn't even die, he just walks off the screen and jumps once again. Come on, you lazy pricks, you couldn't even add a final death sequence? Ugh. So you throw all of Freddy's bones into the furnace, burn them to ashes, and you get a lame poem to signify that it's finally all over. And then the door opens for a sequel with this line right here. We don't need that. Although in all fairness, this isn't a bad game, but it has its flaws. And as you could tell, it has a lot of repetition and its appeal starts to wane out as you go on. By the time you get to the end, just about all your interest is gone. There are good points like the general concept, the graphics, the awake and asleep transitions. It had its potential, and if they got a little more creative with the bosses and added several new ideas into the mix to keep it from becoming too redundant, then it could have been a really good game. But it's still decent overall, and that's saying a lot considering it's LJN. So that wraps up this edition of Aqualung's Game Reviews. See you next time.